This is me, behind me is North Korea, and this is a South Korean soldier whose sole job is to make sure I don't run across the border into North Korea. Same thing with this guy, this guy, this guy, these guys, and these guys. You see, I've always wanted to go to the DMZ, but specifically I've wanted to go to the JSA, or Joint Security Area. Now, I'm going to focus on these 3 blue buildings right here. You see, I was lucky enough to get on this tour that only allowed 40 people in per day. And by the way, yes, in recent news, this is the area that American soldier crossed the border. And of course, even maybe more famous is when Trump stepped over this line from South Korea into North Korea. It was so surreal to actually be in the same exact spot, which is right here to the left. See, that's North Korea, here's South Korea. So I can tell people I went into North Korea, right, technically? Anyways, back to the JSA. Because the border is within sight of where you are standing, there was so much tension that you could kind of feel, not only from the South Korean soldiers, you could actually see the cameras in North Korea kind of turning and seeing you, which is really, really bizarre. You had cameras everywhere, security, things everywhere. North Korea actually had this like jamming tower that was really, really close. Your cell phones didn't work. The only thing that was a little bit different than what I expected was that there were no North Korean soldiers anywhere. Everywhere we looked, we could not find North Korean soldiers. I thought they'd be either behind these blue buildings or standing face to face with South Korean soldiers like you see in all the pictures. See, if you're visiting the DMZ, you're probably going to visit like the 3rd tunnel, you're going to visit the observation deck, everybody does that, but very few people get into the JSA. What you do is you board a bus that has American soldiers that actually take you through the DMZ area to the JSA. You get out there, you watch a little short video.
Loyalty.
And they kind of walk you through things and tell you about the history, the extensive history that has happened in this area.
It's going to be tough to see for everyone on my left, but on your right, you'll see the roof of a guard post. That guard post is once again just outside that disarm bubble I talked about earlier. So that's most likely armed with a heavy machine gun and most likely taking pictures of us right now. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I open the floor to you guys and feel free to take some pictures. Demarcation markers that were planted on the when Lieutenant Paul Chu of the North Korean Army ran across the bridge and told them to stop cutting down the tree. It was planted by their eternal leader Kim Il-sung's son, and he should not trim the tree. We decided to remove all weapons. Thankfully, there was no tour during the Sergeant O incident, but if there was, that could have been catastrophic. There's a sticker and a lock on that door. That is a North Korean lock, and they hold the key to our doors. We hold the keys to their doors, and that's checked up upon by about once or twice a year by our Swiss and Swede delegates up here. Koreans and South Korean families to come together, celebrate whatever they wanted to celebrate, then North Koreans would go back north and South Koreans would go back south. But because this building is located inside of South Korea, the North Korean dictator does not trust that North Koreans entering South Korea will then return to North Korea after their meetings here. Because of that, North Korea then built a resort island off the coast of North Korea for the same intent. However, no South Koreans trusted upon entering North Korea to be able to return from the north. So both facilities sadly haven't been used. This is where the 2017 Sergeant O incident occurred, where Sergeant O, not even attached to this battalion up here whatsoever, defected from North Korea. It's rumored that he made a wrong turn on a road, and instead of going back, he figured he would be executed for going back and making this wrong turn. He risked it all and decided to defect that day. So he drove on the bridge of 72 hours, drove up here, the other side, opening fire on Sergeant O. Sergeant O was hit approximately 5 times as he stumbled into this ditch behind you over here. If you take a look at this coolant tower, you can see bullet holes from the incident. If you look about halfway up, you'll see another bullet hole. That was a negligent discharge by one of the KPA forces, and pulled the trigger. We have that beautiful bullet hole about halfway up to show for it. But Sergeant O laid here bleeding out in the ditch for approximately 1 to 2 hours until nightfall came, and the UNC and ROC commander low crawled to his position and pulled him back. He was then medevaced, so they opened him back up again and found over 5 pounds of parasites and tapeworms inside of his body. Rumored to be the reason why he didn't bleed out in this ditch, but at the end of the day was the reason why he was dying on the operating table. So they successfully removed all of those parasites, and Sergeant O made a full recovery. KPA were known for stacking rocks on that door while we had tours in here. And so after the day was over and the South Korean representative went over there to unlock the door, those rocks would fall, indicating that there was someone at the door. The KPA would then run down and try and snatch that personnel who were unlocking the door.
Alright, so if you're going to visit the DMZ, you're going to have to go to the grocery store and get yourself some hearty snacks and some coffee to start the day. So because we're going to the JSA, which is part of the DMZ tour, there's a very strict dress code. So like the shirt that we have to wear can't have any logos on it, or any like military like logos, can't even have like flags of different countries on it. You have to wear jeans, and it is like super hot, so it'll be interesting. Okay, so if you want to take a full day tour to the DMZ, here's how you do it. You get up at 5:30 in the morning. You get to your bus by 6, you take off by 6:20. You take a long bus ride until you get to this park outside of the DMZ. and then you wait in line. The way it works is that all the buses, all the tour operating companies have to like wait in line, and it's first come first serve. So if your bus isn't first in line, you're not going to be able to go into the park. So if your bus leaves too late, you're going to be waiting in this park for like 6 hours. And this park is pretty cool, but I wouldn't want to be here for 6 hours. We're like the second bus in, so we were able to get in really quick.
So by the way, this is the place for the separated family, everybody. So we call worship altar. So to do the memorial service. First of all, you know the Kevin mentioned the MDL, right? Remember? Military demarcation line. Total length is about 155 miles from east to west. So this section is DMZ in South Korea because we get about 2 million landmines laid around here, and there's so many guard posts and soldiers are guarding this area, but they cannot use the name of soldiers, so that's why they're using the name of military police. So you can see MP on their arm. Demilitarized zone is controlled by United Nations. Doctor, we're in Paju City, P-A-J-U, Paju City. We're outside of Seoul City. After that, we're gonna get to the checkpoint over here. So at that time, you're gonna show your passport. Originally, we had 2 trainway, which is connected trainway from Seoul City to the end of North Korea. But actually, during the Korean War, the trainway got bombed and was totally destroyed. And those people, they came back to their home with this bridge. So that's what we call Freedom Bridge, because they found their own freedom with this bridge.
You can see like how blown up it is and like all the bullet holes that are all over the place. There was like random cat here at the DMZ just kind of hanging out. So way down here you have like a little place that you can buy North Korean money. If you go in there, it is arguably the most expensive North Korean money in the world. I was only able to afford a couple of the bills in there because they're so expensive.
So during the war and after the war, around the 3 million landmines were installed inside the DMZ.
Pretty much every single DMZ tour is going to bring you into what's called the third tunnel, right? So this is a tourist attraction where they bring you into the third tunnel. Essentially, North Korea built this like tunnel for invading South Korea, and they built this like little tourist attraction. You put on these yellow helmets here, you enter in this tunnel, you go way down underground and kind of explore there. It was pretty cool. I couldn't film here, so I recorded this video of the video that they showed us before we went into the underground tunnel.
Where time stands still, the DMZ has remained the scar of the war. The third tunnel was discovered at 435 meters south of the military demarcation line, 4 kilometers south of the truce village of Panmunjom, with the size being large enough for 30,000 troops with field artillery and other heavy weapons to pass through the tunnel in an hour, thus proving that the tunnels were created by North Korea for the purpose of invasion.
The next stop was the observation deck, and it was pretty surreal to see North Korea. Today was like really smoggy and like really hazy. I remember the tour guide pointing out all these other places in North Korea, but I just couldn't see in there because it was so hazy.
This is the jamming tower. Here is the border. North Korean guard post. You can see some North Korean soldier over there.
So it was a little bit disappointing to not be able to see much. Still pretty cool to see what North Korea kind of looks like. I kind of recognize this building here. She can go over that here in just a sec.
Communication building. Sister Kim Jong-un, she blew the building up. So the building is still there, but only the window broken. Those are Kaesong Industrial Complex. So in 2004, Hyundai Motor Company supported to build this Kaesong Industrial Complex. They used to produce chemistry, factory, kitchen supplies, underwear, many kinds of things. So it's a big factory.